Cathar Love, number 98. The Cathar God is a good God. The problem that many religions have had, certainly the Christian, Judaic and Islamic religions, is questioning why, if God is good and all-powerful, why does God allow evil, wars, pestilence, sickness, all these things that plague mankind and have done so for time immemorial to exist? I don't know if anyone's found a satisfactory answer for that everlasting question about the existence of evil. From a Cathar point of view, our God is a good God. Although we don't refer to God as God, we refer to the God as the source, being the origin. This first came into prominence with, that I'm aware of, with Socrates, who said there has to be an origin of all things, has to be a beginning, but it is an unknown beginning, and we term it the source of all. Now from that, a light, a divinity came forth and produced a material world, the cosmos as we know it. Creation of the world. So, with the creation of the world, we had, it's a dualistic world. We have health and sickness, we have war and peace, black and white, night and day. And so on. So it is there that lies the question of, if God is good, why have a world such as it is? So the creator of the world is the Abrahamic faith is a personal God, so it would be a recognizable God on human terms. And to the Cathar, this is the God that created the world, the artificer. But our creator, the source of all, is the source. Now our source is an unknown quantity. Only the source knows itself. But the one thing we do know about the source is that love, unconditional and undifferentiated love, emanates from the source to everybody and everything everywhere. The question of good and evil and God, well, this light, a lesser God, a divinity, came forth and produced the material world. Now to the Cathars of old, which were a Christian denomination, a Christian sect, and all Cathars were once Catholics, so they had the devil, Satan, very much. So they said this divinity that created the world, it was the world that they knew was one of pestilence, disease, wars, cruelty. This who created the world must be the devil. Now, Catharism has evolved since then, and certainly evolved from that. And as far as the divinity, the light that came forth from the source to create the world, it simply did it, and it's beyond our human or our humanity to question and give it a judgment as to whether it is right or wrong, or it is simply is. That's the way it is. But with the creation of this world, we do not believe that you can have a world without the those contingent factors of health and sickness, right and wrong, good and bad. We also believe, because of this, that everybody has this duality of nature. Everyone has this component or capacity to do good or to do evil, good things and bad things. And obviously this is also to do with our nurturing, and also dependent upon the circumstances at the time, because some people are put in quite horrific circumstances and sometimes they have to react in a fairly nasty way just to survive. So we understand that, but we also understand that at some point in our evolvement, in this life or another, we have this capacity to choose to simply be a good person who wants to live a good life, and one's whole life is to do with goodness and not create negative situations or nastiness for anyone else intentionally. This obviously has got nothing to do with, it's certainly got everything to do with Catharism, but it's not necessarily to do with Catharism. Anybody can make this choice, and whether they're religious or irreligious or no religion, it doesn't matter. This is a personal choice that people can make, but to be a practicing Cathar, it's a choice you have to make. The other thing, and a major factor, and this is a great divide between the great faiths, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, is the fact that they all have a heaven and a hell. Both are eternal. They both have days of judgment, and you will be judged on the last day, and ultimately you'll go heavenwards or down towards, or down to hell, and in both cases for eternity, because this is to do with salvation or damnation and living your lives accordingly. Now, all that is of no concern at all to the Cathar. We go along a different track, and this, by the way, as I've said before, that it is with the Abrahamic, the great faiths, you're given one life. Now, despite the fact that for 50% of the world's population it's not a very good life, and probably for 20% of the population it's a horrific life, and there's just very, very few you can say it is a wonderful life. And yet within that we're just giving that one life, which doesn't seem very fair, and on that, whether you live a good life or a bad life, you will be judged on the Day of Judgment, the last day, and you will be consigned to heavenwards, or you'll be consigned hell and damnation for eternity. I don't think that's a very fair system at all, and certainly one that I wouldn't want to belong to, and I don't belong to, or I don't subscribe to. Catharism, on the other hand, says we're very similar to Buddhism in many, many ways, is that ours is an existence of reincarnation, life after life, lifetime after lifetime. And it is a matter of going out each lifetime and learning, hopefully evolving, eventually getting to that point of waking up or enlightenment, whereby we do make that choice to be good people and simply lead good lives, and good lives based on love, with the Cathars, of course, with the source giving unconditional and undifferentiated love to everybody and everything everywhere. Well, we try to emulate the source the best way we can, and also have a choice that we will give also unconditional and undifferentiated love for everybody and everything everywhere. That's animals, plants, the environment, our planet Earth, not just humans or aliens. Also, not having this salvation or damnation, heaven or hell, day of judgment, all that put aside, Catharism is a far more pleasant and less psychologically stressful existence, spiritual existence. Because to us, every divine spark, because upon creation we're given a divine spark which is our innermost core of reality, even beyond the soul, and that will return ultimately to the source, although it may take 1,000, who knows, many thousands of lifetimes before we attain that to that level whereby we can be reunited back with the source. Another thing is that certainly separates us is that Cathars don't go out and have no need of preaching or converting others to Catharism. It is a natural process. For those who are ready, the process is natural, and because no one is born a Cathar, it's always leaving either religion or no religion or whatever one's belief system is, and moving on and deciding, this is for me. But of course, if one doesn't talk about it, others are hardly going to be aware of even the existence of Catharism. But thankfully, with movies and videos and certainly at least a few books a year coming out about the Cathars, plus people in Europe, especially from America, travelling to the land of the Cathars in Europe and in Italy, the world is becoming far more aware of Catharism and the return and resurgence of Catharism. Not that everybody's happy about that, because at one time they thought they got rid of the Cathars. They burned them. They'd either burnt them out or got rid of them by warfare or the Inquisition. Unfortunately, we have returned. Unfortunately for some, very fortunate for others. But Catharism grows through emanation. And what I mean by that is that people that Catharism is meant for will be guided, will be attracted to it one way or another. And of course with us, guidance, our spirit guide is a very, very big factor. And so if we're ready, and if we're ready, obviously we'll be aware of our spirit guides and the fact that they are guiding us, even though it's a very odd pathway at times, but we're being guided towards emanation. A friend of mine, Patricia Ritchie, she put it in a far more eloquent way, and I'd like to read this to you. We are all soul spirit, and being that, we light up into bonfires with others of the same frequencies, and this is how soul spirit will heal the world. We connect light with light and bring forth more powerful light to heal and enlighten where there is darkness and ignorance. I think that's an excellent explanation, and it's goodness attracts goodness, light and knowledge and evolvement of that level of frequencies will attract others of the same. So this is emanation, and just as love emanates down from the source, so it emanates from people who are already involved in Cathars to attract others who wish to travel down that Cathar path. So it is all about goodness, and goodness based on love, and even the Cathars of old, which is interesting because we call them perfecti, the male and female clergy, and But they, to the people, they were just heretics, and they referred to themselves as good men and good women. This Cathar Perfecti was thrust upon them, although the Cathars now own it, which is often the case. And they were out, and the heretic came in, and they came to talk about the goodness, or the good God. So the Cathar God is a good God. It's a God of love, unconditional love, and undifferentiated love for everybody and everything, everywhere. And because of that, we don't have to worry about salvation or damnation or anything along those, the Day of Judgment. What we're doing is evolving reincarnation after reincarnation to the point where we will be reunited ultimately with the Source, which is a rather pleasant thought and a happy one at that. So on that happy note, I will bid you adieu for now. Bye.